Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the EVOLVE Voices podcast, the platform to hear about the fascinating stories behind the people that power global commerce. I am Mayssa Nasr, a marketing and growth consultant, and I am your Middle East host of EVOLVE Voices. Today, we're going to dive into a world of creativity, joy, and innovation in the kids' entertainment. My guest is Christina Salhab, or Tina, founder of TinyFest, a company that has completely redefined the way we animate and engage children. From interactive storytelling to immersive experiences, Tina and her team have transformed kids' entertainment in Lebanon, making her today the most in-demand animator in the country. But what does it really take to create magical moments for children while building a successful business in this industry? This is what we're going to look into today with Tina. Tina, welcome to Evolve Voices and thank you for accepting my invitation.
Mace, how are you? It's been so long. First of all, I remember you were the first one to believe in Tiny
Oh,
Fest. I
I was
remember
your
that.
first client. It's true.
Yes,
It's true.
that's it. Absolutely. I remember we didn't even have clothes. We were just going with sports clothes to your event and the
It's
birthday
true.
of your daughter. It
It's
was
true.
really
It's
nice. It
true.
was really, really nice. So I just want to say hi to everyone. I'm really excited to share my story today. It's a very interesting story, yet super joyful and colorful and full of positivity. But a lot of work behind it, hard work, sleepless nights. Of course, there's a lot of people who have to be really engaged and involved in this. And motivation comes first, and it has to be through your team, not yourself alone.
I completely agree with you. So, Tina, let's start from the beginning. You did an interior design, right, master. So, what actually led you to shift from interior design and designing kids' spaces, because you had previously founded Tiny Roofs, right, to creating full-scale events today with Tiny Fest?
Okay. So I'm going to tell you a short story about my past with interior architecture. I graduated from Alba University with a degree, and I was the first in class. And everyone was talking about this student who has a promising future in interior architecture. Unfortunately, this was not my path in life. And
Okay.
it didn't come easily, actually. I had to go through at least three interior design jobs, and I had to go through three different bosses. And I had to
Okay.
be an employee in three different places and different studios until I finally decided to let go of everything. And it's okay if you studied interior architecture. It's okay if your parents are reminding you every single day that they paid a lot of money for that. And it's okay to be titled as an interior architect and then suddenly you decided to play with kids and throwing colorful balls at kids. So it's okay. It's okay. So, and this is when actually my last job was really hard. My boss was sweet and everything was great. And I had a lot of power in this company. I was the decision maker actually. And then one day, the company decided to just close its doors. And I decided to just stop searching for interior architecture jobs and start playing with kids around my cousins, my friends, my daughter's friend, actually. Okay. And when I decided to do that, it was actually easy for me because I met a company who works with kids as entertainers. And they said, yes, you can start working with us. It's just a part time job. And my full focus was on being stronger and better with kids, okay, during weekends mainly. So I didn't have any job weekdays. I had the time to think for myself what I had to do, what was my future about, is it interior architecture or not? But
Okay.
mainly the first thing that really helped to shift from interior architecture to kids entertainment was the loss of my job. I didn't have any job. I was unemployed. So I had time to think. When you stop and you just think for yourself, and of course, you work on yourself and you work on what you really love and what are your true skills and what's your passion, you will understand that your call is somewhere else.
It's
And then
it's a great story actually because the company that you used to work with closed. So when they say when a door closes, there's always another one that will open for you, right? And I think it's a
exactly,
shift in mindset because people
exactly.
sometimes they go into depression when they lose their job. So it's all about the mindset, and as you said, so thinking, about what you want to do next.
Exactly. And of course, we had to go through depression a little bit, but it was really,
Of
really,
course.
really good for me,
Yeah.
actually. It was really good for me. And I started
Okay.
just playing around with kids on weekends. It was a part-time job. It was really fun. And I discovered my skills during weekends only, actually. So it was interesting. And this is when the owner of this company started thinking that I was a threat for his company because people were asking about me to go to birthdays, to go on stage. They wanted to see my face. They wanted to hear my voice. And then Corona was here. So I stopped everything and I stopped with the other company, the entertainment company, and I decided to start my own and my own kids entertainment company. It was not a company at first. It was only hiking because it's Corona, so it's fine. We're outdoors, no viruses. It's just outdoors, I can just have fun with kids. We're not doing birthdays. We're not doing anything. We're just walking in nature. And this is how it started.
Wow. And so, okay, so you started with the hiking, and then so how did the idea came to actually start was this whole tiny fast entertainment? Was it because parents were asking you to come and animate the birthday, or did you see like there was a certain gap in the market? So how did the idea evolve actually from only hiking to this full, kids entertainment that you are doing today with your team?
Yes, of course. So when we were hiking, I was introducing entertainment to hikings. So they were in nature, they were having fun, and I was introducing a few games, which was a little bit weird because usually people go hiking with their parents or alone and they don't have entertainment in nature. So I was
True.
introducing this idea because I thought it was just boring to just walk with kids. Kids want to jump, want to discover, and this is when we started just climbing up a little bit by bit with our ideas, with actually my ideas because I was alone at first. And then
Yes.
there was one client, she asked for me in the other entertainment company I used to work with. She said she wanted Tina to her daughter's birthday. And
Yes.
they definitely answered that I wasn't there anymore. I wasn't working with them. She made sure to look for me on Instagram, to talk to me, send me a private message and say, you can do it. I know you don't need an entertainment company. Just come, get a few balls and come play with me. I have the sound system if you want. And this is how it
Nice.
happened. We moved from hiking to kids' birthdays. And of course, I was super stressed. My first birthday, this client was used to having a lot of materials and a big sound system, a speaker, a microphone. I was I was just using myself, my voice, what I have in mind, games with nothing, just nature. And it was really, really interesting. And the
Okay.
client was really satisfied. And it was actually a word of mouth. Everybody was talking about this Tina, this girl who just entertained 50 kids all
Yes.
alone without a microphone. This is
Yes.
how it started. When you start discovering your skills and you start being more successful and people talking about you, this is how you feel that yes, you can do more. You're motivated to start achieving more. You start dreaming more. You start working on everything that you had in mind that you couldn't do. It was just a dream. So from success to another, it's gonna work. It's definitely
Nice.
gonna work.
Yes,
You
yes,
just
yes.
have to believe in yourself. That's
It's
it.
true. It's all about belief. So, okay, so tell us, today you are in this kids entertainment, industry, which we know it's a very crowded space, right? Because you have a lot of entertainers out there. So, how did you and do you still make sure today that Tiny Fast is standing out versus competition, versus, other animators?
Yes. When we first started, this is something I felt. This is not something out of studies. But when we first started, we were almost the only ones. we had a few competitors, but we were actually 2 or 3 competitors in the whole country, and we had each of these competitors had their own type and style and way of dealing with the kids' entertainment. But then when everybody else started seeing all over social media that Tiny Fest is moving forward, she's doing a lot of beautiful things, it's working, she has a lot of people attending her events. So why not? Let's do it. Let's copy her ideas. Let's. So it was really tiring. Actually, it was really tiring, and it took me at least 6 months to understand that it's okay to have competitors. It's okay to be a reference for everyone. You have to take it on a positive note that this is amazing for you because people believe in you and they see that you're the best. So they're going to use your ideas, which is great. Why not?
Yes.
But that's the biggest problem. You always have to be better and better every single day.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
always have to engage new activities, create, and will we ever run out of ideas? This is the only question I have. Will I
Exactly.
ever
So
run
this
out
was
of ideas?
yeah, this is my next question. So how do you come up with all these wonderful concepts, with all these wonderful ideas? How do you come up with them?
So actually, I research a lot.
Okay.
I research at night before I sleep. I research when I'm eating. I research when when I'm driving. So it's non-stop research. And the way I look at the picture is always different because maybe my mind, maybe this is how I think, this is how I see things. I'm a dreamer. I feel like I can always push myself to my limits. And when you think that nothing is impossible, actually any picture you can just recreate it your own way. So I was searching everywhere all over the world, not only things that Lebanese people did
Yeah.
before, or things that are trendy, or things that were trendy a few years ago. I just create things, and when it's successful because of the positive energy that we spread and the way we use these ideas, makes it a trend. So people will start following what we did. When actually I didn't mean to make it a trend. I didn't mean to for it to be a trend. But this is how people just start following our ideas, and this is how the ideas grow. Because from something small, you just have to keep moving forward and creating new things. Because sooner than later, people will follow you and take your ideas. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I actually researched a lot. This is the answer to your question. It's all about intensive researches on Google, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on sites that nobody ever visited. And
Yeah.
the most important is looking for ideas that could be feasible. Just you can't fly with your ideas. You have to go get down to earth and think about it slowly. And if it works in Lebanon, and if Lebanese people will accept it, so it's not only a research of ideas and pictures. You have to think if it's feasible in our country as well. That's why
Sure.
most of our ideas, I don't know if they work outside because there's a lot of rules.
Yeah.
So
It's true. It's true. So can you give us actually some examples, moments when you push your boundaries of what's expected in kids' event, or you did something like a huge? Can you give us some examples?
yes, of course, of course. The actual the event where I pushed most of my boundaries was an event that I did in the middle of the war. It was just the start of the war, actually. And it was really dangerous. Everything that I was using and providing for this event was high tech material that could breach the security. It was really intense, actually. Even the way the preparations were hard. It was really a hustle. This was the hardest event I've ever prepared. And it was almost the beginning of the war in Lebanon, so we didn't know if we had participants who wanted to pay. The guests were so excited, but they were scared. So
Mm,
I pushed myself to my limits, and I said I want to do this event, even if it's not gonna be as successful as I was expecting. It was hard. It was hard, and the stress I went through. We were outdoors. There were drones. The drones were there, but it was the first time we used them in Lebanon. So we brought them all the way from Dubai, and then they got stuck in another country, and then we had to get them back at the same time. And it was like a few hours before the event. Suppliers were stuck in traffic because of everything that was going on, the sound. It was really, really hard, but still, I did not let go, and I decided to do it. And people were really, really, really happy. It was a very successful event. I'm not going to lie to you. It was not that profitable, but it was really, really successful.
What kind
And
of event was it? Was it a hiking? Was it just entertainment?
no, it was actually a summer event. It was a festival
Okay.
under the name of Illuminated Wonderfest. So we had to do only one session, although it's not helpful at all. So people had to come a little bit late. It had to be before after sunset.
Okay.
We needed the darkness. It was outdoor in the middle of August, and it was a little bit high in the mountains. So
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay. I love your resilience, by the way, Tina, to continue, right? And not stop in front of obstacles. Tell me, how
Yes,
did
no matter
you were
what.
telling, yeah, you were telling me at the beginning that you know how you got your first client and then it was like a word of mouth, but you still needed to market yourself, right?
Yes, of
To be
course.
where you are today. So how do you market yourself, or how do you market Tiny Fest today?
Okay, word of mouth was the first push for Tiny Fest. It was really good actually because it was unexpected. I thought I had to put more efforts into marketing and paying more for advertisement on Instagram. But
Okay.
fortunately, it was super easy. And at first, our expectations were smaller. So we were expecting
Okay.
60 kids. 60 kids would come out of word of mouth. But when we started preparing events that need at least 250 kids to cover the cost, we had to use social media platforms and mainly Instagram, nothing else.
Okay.
It's only Instagram. I don't have a TikTok platform. I don't have a social media. I don't have an account on TikTok actually,
Okay.
which targets the teens. So I don't have it. I only use Instagram. But the good
Okay.
thing is, everybody talks about Tiny Fest.
Yes.
Christmas was super easy. The bookings, we had 6,500 people booking in less than 48 hours. It was
Wow.
all running on Instagram ads and nothing else.
Okay. Wow. Because actually, your events today are mainly targeting kids younger than teenagers, right?
Yes, younger than teenagers, but we're working on a project. We have a big project to start working with teenagers and mainly adults, which is a future plan I will talk about later.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Wow. Yes, we'll talk about this later. Um, you are an entrepreneur today, right? So you found a tiny fest from scratch. You took,
Yes.
phase, you grabbed an opportunity. So if you want to tell us some hard lessons you have learned along the way as an entrepreneur, what would these lessons be?
The most important lesson, we have to respect everyone, of course, but not everyone deserves our kindness, specifically my kindness. This is how I deal with people. I'm known as a kind person, but I couldn't be as kind as I am in Tiny Fest specifically. You start discovering, and it's out of experiences. You will go through a lot of bad experiences with people, suppliers, sometimes members from Tiny Fests, sometimes people that you trusted, and you learn, and it's okay. It's okay to go through betrayals, but you will learn from every single bad experience you had. And the
Nice.
good part is, one bad experience will get you through thousands of good experiences. You keep learning, and it's okay. As long as you don't stop at your failure, you just stand up and continue and keep moving. So, my first lesson is to have boundaries with people, definitely. And my second lesson is to always believe in the people that are right next to you, your relatives, the ones that love you the most, the ones that show you support, even if they're against you. Sometimes they're against you in a few ideas, in a few events, in a few things that you just came up with. Just
Yes.
believe in them because they're the people that love you the most, and they're always right at the end.
Nice. So actually, so my next question for you was, how do you, stay motivated, right? Especially during tough times. But I guess you just said it's the people around you, right?
Yes, people around you, and of course, this is something superficial maybe, but the feedback of people after every event, it
Yes.
it it gives me a lot of power to keep moving and to start working on the next event. So the feedback, the positive feedback, the nice comments on social media, the messages, the calls from parents, and most importantly, the loyal clients, the
Mm,
ones who never miss an event. They've been here for 5 years. They've always been here, every
yeah.
single event. And even if they felt that one of the event was a little bit lower than any other event they attended, they keep on managing to keep it positive with positive feedback.
Okay. Tina, tell me, how do you organize your time today? Being a founder means wearing many hats, plus you have, your personal life. So how do you set your priorities?
At first, when I started, I didn't expect to be that successful and to reach a point where it was a full-time job. It was my job. I make a living out of Tiny Fest. I did
Yes.
not expect to have 35 employees. I have 5 of them fixed employees. I have to pay them every month.
Yes.
So this
Yeah.
is hard work. I try as much as possible to manage. Of course, you have to have clear responsibilities and you have to delegate your tasks. That's why I was talking about the employees. I have 5 trustworthy employees. They're amazing. They're here and they've been here for 5 years. I could definitely delegate tasks. And most importantly, when I go through burnouts, I have
Yes.
to go through burnouts to understand
Okay.
that now it's time to manage your life. It's hard, but the more you delegate, it's okay if they fail. Your people, the 5 employees that are with me, they understand everything. It's okay if they fail. I have to invest my time. I have to be patient with them. And it's okay. I have to understand that these failures are leading to somewhere really positive and they are leading me to have a better life later. And this
Mm,
is where I am right now after 5 years. These 5 people that I trust the most, they're helping me a lot. And that's why the planning of my life is starting to get a little bit clearer,
okay.
finally.
Okay. Okay. Tina, if someone wants to enter the world of kids entertainment today, where do you think they should start? If you have to give them one or two advices.
Okay. Kids entertainment is a very big word. It's not that easy to entertain kids. You can, of course, if you
Yeah.
just know how to throw colorful balls, if you know how to put some music and dance, you can. But if you want to be really special and to outstand anyone else, you really, really have to understand that this is your call. It has to be a skill, a passion. You have to know that every single morning when you wake up and you look at these beautiful children in front of you, they're not going to bother you. It's not going to be something that is bothering you. It's not going to be something that's going to change your mood. You have to understand that waking up for the rest of your life, being around kids, is something that you must love and you must be patient and persistent through kids' entertainment. If not, if you think 1% that this might put you in a bad mood, this might change your life for the worst, or this might affect your life and your goals, and if you think this is not something that you can work on for the rest of your life, just don't do it. The first time I decided to launch Tiny Fest, I was 100% sure that this company will be my little baby for the rest of my life. And I was okay with waking up every single morning working with kids. It was okay for me, this idea. And it's still okay. And I
Mm.
still wake up every single morning super excited about a birthday or an event, to
So
be
I think
honest. So,
you need to be very
yeah,
patient, right? You need to have a
yes,
patience.
exactly. The keywords are patience, persistence, and definitely passion. Passion. You have to have passion for what you're doing. And of course, I definitely advise anyone who wants to start with kids entertainment to have a little bit of knowledge of how to deal with kids, how to treat kids, how to deal with different personalities. You have all type of children. You don't know what they've been through with their parents. You cannot judge. You have to be super kind. You have to get down and talk to them at the same level. You
Yeah.
cannot just do your job and leave. You're not going to succeed. Maybe you're going to succeed with a few ideas that you have for a few years. And then if you're not persistent and you don't have it in you and you don't understand how kids react and talk and deal with things, you cannot take the role of their parents. You're just here to entertain them. You're just here to show them love. It's just a few hours. So it's not your job to raise these children. It's just your job to entertain them and show them how happy you are to be around them.
I think this is a very good, like an internship for you during these 5 years to become a mom yourself after, right? I mean,
Definitely.
it's wonderful. I can only imagine, like, you'll be like a
Definitely.
perfect mom, after, being
Definitely.
around all these kids. Uh,
Exactly. And patience.
yeah, exactly. Tell me, I want to go back a bit on the work-life balance. I was asking you how do you manage everything and how do you organize yourself, but because I ask these questions differently to my guests, but do you actually believe in work-life balance? Do you think it's a challenge today, or how do you navigate this? Or for you, because I had some guests who were saying there's nothing like work-life balance anymore. You need to love your job so that it becomes your life, and that you need to embrace it.
Exactly. This
Okay.
is what I was about to tell you. So, when you're in love with what you're doing, specifically in Lebanon, it's much easier to start something you love, and the crowd, they're always there. They're gonna help you no matter what. People in Lebanon love to live. They're full of life, so it's easy for you. But at the same time, it's hard as it's a country without rules, um, without support. So there's no work-life balance anymore. I believe that you have to love what you're doing. You have to wake up every morning as if it was the day off. So you're
Mm,
going to work, but it's a day off. When it's a day off, you just go, enjoy your time, forget about everything. This is how powerful your job should be. This is how you should be engaged and involved and motivated, as if it was a day off. You have to love it. You have to be super energetic, specifically in kids' entertainment, of course. So specifically in kids entertainment, our target audience, they have the means, they can pay. And when it comes to their children, they're going to do anything to entertain them. And especially when you're offering experiences like Tiny Fest, we're all about experiences for parents and kids. And every single time they leave, the parents and the children, the whole family, they keep on talking about how successful it was for the adults and the children. So everybody was happy, everybody was engaged, and they keep on asking me how I balance my life.
yeah.
And but when they see how happy I am, they just forget about this question. You have to forget about this question. It's all about working on yourself, to be in love with what you are about to offer. It's all about being in love with your job and what you decided to do for the rest of your life.
Nice. So tell us now what's next for Tiny Fest. You were telling me there's something with teenager or with adults.
Yes.
Tell us more about it.
So for Tiny Fest, we have a lot of beautiful plans, a lot of exciting plans, and I'm sure everybody's waiting for this. I'm not
Okay.
going to reveal all of it, but I'm just going to talk about a few main points. We're
Okay.
going to start working on teens events,
Okay.
closer to adults, because we are being successful in every single event. We always have the good feedback that parents had fun as well, and please do something for the teens. We need to have something for their age. So we decided to work on it, not because it's just something that people are asking about, because we can. We know we can.
Yeah.
We know we are able to entertain teens after a lot of events, of experiences
Yes.
with graduations and schools. So yes, we know we can. So this is our first future plan.
Okay.
Our second plan, which is the most important, and we already started, it's the traveling experience with Tiny Fest. So we're already traveling in July, and we are
Okay.
planning on traveling with families to other countries, and we're planning on focusing on experiences specifically that you cannot do as a family without Tiny Fests, of course.
Okay.
And that's one far future plan, but it's on
Okay.
the way,
Okay.
not too close. We're thinking of having our own venue,
Mm,
our own maybe playground or location for events, and a lot of surprises.
nice. Nice. Very nice. So Tina, everything you're planning is to expand in Lebanon, right? So to expand your target audience, everything in Lebanon, or do you think about growing beyond Lebanon into the region?
Yes, of course. I think of growing beyond Lebanon. Of course, I've been to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar, to Dubai.
Okay.
For now, I think for now, our main focus is Lebanon. As soon as we think, as soon as we feel that we're 100% ready to move abroad, we're gonna do that. Of course, it's not
Okay.
gonna be a permanent move. It's just gonna be
Right.
on events for a
So if
month, for
anyone
2 months.
today, okay, so if anyone today in the region wants actually, to have Tiny Fest, they can reach out to you and you can go with your team, to any other
Yes, of
country in
course.
the region.
Of course we can. Of course. We have a big team and we're well trained. And I know almost everything that's related to rules and regulations regarding the Gulf regions, of course.
Okay, okay, okay. How can people reach out to you?
Through TinyFest number, we have a customer service 272843. This is our number in Lebanon, of course. We have a website, so they
Okay.
can email info@tinyfest.com. And of course, they can just reach out through Instagram as well. And we'll be happy to help.
Okay, amazing. One last question, Tina, before we close this podcast that I usually love to ask my guests. If you have any book to recommend today to our listeners, what would this book be?
To be very honest, my favorite book and the one that helps a lot for parents and people that are preparing themselves to be parents, a really beautiful book that's written by Mayssa Nasr under the title of From Within to Beyond. I just love this book.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tina. Merci beaucoup. Tina, it's wonderful to see passionate people like you working, in such an industry, in the kids industry. So keep going. We all love you. We all love what you're doing.
Thank you
Uh,
so much.
and thanks a lot, for, accepting our invitation today. I hope, our listeners enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for tuning in up until the end. And as usual, keep evolving.
Thank you so much.
Now make sure you subscribe to Evolve Voices, this leading and incredible project where our ambassadors are interviewing amazing professionals from all over the world so they can share their perspective and benefit you with their perspective, their knowledge, and you can understand what's happening in the different markets. Evolve Voices is a project part of the Evolve Commerce Club, the #1 and leading community where we connect international professionals in the world of commerce. We are now connecting professionals in more than 40 markets, and every week we invite an expert to share their perspective and their knowledge. So if you'd like to know more, you can always look at the comments. We have a link there so you can request your application and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching. All the best. Ciao.